Hey, wine lovers, we are live. We are live. We're going to be blind tasting Carl on a couple wines. We're going to chat Canadian wine. So stop by. Cheers.
Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, everyone across the country, everywhere in Canada, because we are back on home soil. And yeah, Mira Boucher, everyone. How are you doing, Mira?
Doing well. How are you, Carl Boucher?
I'm doing great, recovering.
We went
definitely on the upswing. Definitely on the upswing.
So the last couple weeks we were in San Francisco, Las Vegas, Monterey, California, and we finally made it back to Canada, where we proceeded to immediately catch numerous flus. There's 5 of us in the family here, so when one catches a flu, it like transmutes and passes around and becomes this like horrific thing. So yeah, multiple different kinds of flus. You know, there's different kinds of flus. We had them all the last few days. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Well, I'm definitely on the upswing. Definitely. I mean, I am a world better than I was yesterday, and a galaxy better than I was 2 days ago. And I think my weekend is just like a blur. I can't barely remember what happened there. So I was so out of it. And I can tell you one thing, that I have not had a sip of wine since my last sip of Chardonnay in Monterey.
Yeah.
I haven't had a sip of wine. I wasn't even able to handle a wine opener. Okay.
Because you were
that's the first sip. That's the first sniff that I had during the countdown. I had a sniff. I mean, that red smells like a Cabernet Franc. Like, you let me know if my nose is still affected, but I got Cab Franc all of that nose. So
nope.
Well,
tell us, instead of trying to guess, just tell us what you experience when you're blind tasting.
Before we get into the whole thing, okay, let's backtrack and let's talk about that epic trip that we have down south. Maybe we can talk about that. We sure need to talk about Mouchadre, because what a smashing success we had with the Mouchadre offer. It was absolutely wonderful. And I want to talk also about not only a possible, but a probable trip to Vegas again in the next 6 weeks. And so that was not in the plan at all. And it's now unfolding on us, and it's really fucking exciting. And so, yeah. Welcome, Tracy, Jim Miller, our people from Tavista, Ontario. Great to see you guys. Everyone across the country, from the eastern provinces, which is almost 9 o'clock now out there. Our people in Ontario, which is 8 o'clock, all the way across the prairies. And here in BC, which is 5 o'clock, we wish you a great Wine Wednesday. It's Wine Happy Hour. And let us know from where you are tuning in. And what I'm very interested in, it's what's in your glass tonight. I want to know what's in your glass. I don't know what's in my glass. And clearly, I thought my first sniff, I thought it was Cab Franc, and it's not. But we'll get back to that. The white wine smells really citrusy. Let's put it that way, and we'll dig a little deeper in a little bit. First and foremost, I want to welcome my co-host, my business partner, and my traveling partner, Mira. Happy Wednesday. I saw you. You just put up some of our pictures from our trip some great picture in Las Vegas, some great pictures from all over the place. I want to know, I have a question for you before we start the whole thing. What was your biggest takeaway from the Monterey, the Free to Great conference that we spoke at last week?
I think it was just how familiar small batch family owned wineries and wines are. Like we tasted the Monterey wines, the California wines a little bit, and got to know some of the people, and it just felt like we were back at home. And it made me wonder, because I don't have a lot of experience getting to know winemakers and tasting wines all over the world, right? Especially not in the same way that we do here in Canada, where we actually get to meet the winemakers and talk to them and all this kind of stuff. So we got to do that a little bit in Monterey, and it was just like, oh, wow, these amazing neighbors to our south that are just like us. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I think it was quite like on that point, Mira, let me bring a little bit more. I thought it was so funny that the people that we met was exactly the size of small producer that we deal with on a daily basis. Outside of the talk that I went to listen to Ali Wente, the fifth generation of the Wente family, owner of Wente Family Vineyard in California, which is one of the oldest, one of the biggest vineyard in California. I thought that walking through the hotel and like all of that, I will be talking to giants of the industry, right? People who are dealing with millions of cases production, this and that. I thought, no, most of the people that we met, almost all, it's all from small batch wine, small family owned, and all that. I was shocked. And it's very funny that you mentioned about that. We even dealt with guys producing 45 cases of Chardonnay here and there, a little bit like Thomas Batchelder does it in Niagara. He does the same thing in Sonoma County. So I thought it was pretty darn cool to see that. It was one of my takeaways as well. Sorry for taking over what you're saying, but before James Miller here has Le Clos Jordan Pinot Noir 2019 in his glass. That it's a nice pour tonight, James. Way to go. Stacy and Jeff.
Thomas Batchelder.
Yeah. Yes. And Stacey and Jeff are having the Burnt Bay Reserve Red tonight, one of our very favorite, which was our very top value wine of the year. So great pour in your glass, you guys.
Rob Red Wines just arrived from the Red Blood Tasting Marathon, so that's great to hear.
Who?
Rob Uneda's.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Good. That's great.
Yeah, that's great. So Vicky, nice to see you. Yeah, it's been really Daryl. Hi, Daryl.
Daryl, my friend. Good evening.
Daryl asked like 20 minutes ago. He's like, "Are you guys going live tonight?" And I'm like, "Of course." Well, I mean, we might be sick, but we're not on our deathbed. I mean,
Daryl, I have to say, I thought of you tasting that Daniel wine in California. Daryl, I wish you were sitting with me in that room at the Hyatt Hotel when I tasted that Daniel Mendocino Ridge. This Chardonnay absolutely blew my socks off. I knew you probably really, really like that Chardonnay. Exactly. That, not that bottle, this one. Yeah,
okay,
the other one.
This is sneak preview. This is Daniel, the winemaker. We got to tell you this story because it was pretty crazy, but this is the bottle here. The one that says Daniel on it, and then Daniel is right there behind it. The winemaker. Yeah. So we got to tell that story though.
Okay, let's backtrack. Let's tell the whole story. So we're doing our talk, and our talk was all about video content and live video. So we had a full room. Our co-presenter was a really cool guy from the Fingerling region, from Fox Run Winery, and so anyway, we did our full talk, and I'm talking about live videos, and right after the talk, I have to go. We have to go get ready to do our live, right? And we smuggled in our luggage a bottle of Stratus, unfiltered, unfined 2021 vintage Chardonnay. So I really wanted to have a couple California Chardonnay to taste side by side. The goal will be for Mira to blind taste me on which one is Stratus and which one are the other California wine. Well, first and foremost, we didn't talk 2 minutes because the Stratus was unfine, unfiltered, so very cloudy, so very easy to find. But anyway, we got super busy, didn't have time. I tried to find a good liquor store with some good wines, but every place that I stopped by was a crappy freaking liquor store with no selection. So my plan B or plan C was to go to the hotel lobby, to the hotel restaurant and get about one of their bottle of their Chardonnay. I know I'm going to get fleeced and pay 3 times the price, but at that point I was kind of hooped and it was my only option. So I was waiting to go that way. So comes up the idea of during the talk, at the close to the end, say, hey, Mira had a great idea to invite everyone in our suite to come and watch the live, like come and see the live. Our topic that we're talking about right now is live video. So come to our hospitality suite and come and watch behind the scene the videos, right? Now, Mira, I'll let you take over from there.
Yeah, totally. But I got to say something crazy first. Okay. Jim and Tracy have Le Clos Jardin Pinot Noir 2019 in their glass tonight. And Art Fonseca has Le Grand Clos Chardonnay 17. So same winemaker, same winery. The Chardonnay.
Wow. So 17. And Daryl had a Pearl Morissette 18 Cuvée 19e.
Which I already asked. Sounds like it's not. We worry about those ones because we've had some.
That's what I said to who asked me this week. I was texting with one of our members and he asked me about that. Oh, it was Anne Desire. And Anne was asking what's my take on the 2018. And you know what? I think the 18 never really took off. I saw lots of promises at the beginning. When we tasted it in pre-release, everything, like I saw some tremendous potential and I felt like that wine never really took off. Anyway,
we
so let's get back to our story.
Out of the hundreds, out of the thousands of wines we've featured now, there's not been a ton that have disappointed us in terms of the aging potential, and like we keep retasting some of them and all that, but there's been a couple that were not.
Darn it! Hey, it's a Chardonnay night now. Mike LePlan, the average wine enthusiast, has Black Market 22 Chardonnay. So it feels like a bunch of people are tasting Chardonnay tonight. I love it. I need to keep going on my Chardonnay story.
And we don't have Chardonnay open, so after this story, maybe I have to go get one because I do have 2 wines. Yeah.
Let's keep going on that story. So we announced during our talk that we're going to do the talk and we're going to do our live and invite everybody. And I said, hey, by the way, if anyone knows a good Chardonnay, a local Chardonnay, and where I can get it, please let me know. We need to get a bottle or 2 for our live after. And Mira, what happened?
Well, 2 people came forward like right away. And so this was Jordan from Pisoni Family Vineyards, right? And so she donated a nice Chardonnay for us, and more oaked Chardonnay, important for the blind tasting part later. And it was very good. And also, crazy thing happened. So this was in one of the suites next to us. They had all these fun drinks. Look at this. The other crazy thing that happened was the winemaker's wife was in the talk with us that we were speaking at, and she said, "Oh, my husband makes really small batch wines, and he's got one here if you want. It's already chilled and everything. We can stop by." So they came over, and this is Daniel himself, the winemaker. And so last week's Wine Wednesday, the first 10 minutes or so, we're hanging out with this winemaker that we had just met and tasting his wine side by side, a Canadian wine. He'd never had a Canadian wine. So I said, good job on bringing like the most nerdy Chardonnay you could find, Carl, because we blind tasted him on like an unfiltered Chardonnay from Ontario.
But so Daniel ended up, in his first couple minutes in our interview, tasting Stratus 2021 on Final Unfiltered. And I mean, his body language told a lot. Like I saw his face right away, like, whoa, it was like, oh, that's cool. And really enjoyed it. And I think the kicker for me personally, I have to say, came up in the middle of the interview after, because so this is from Mendocino Ridge AV8, which is a fairly new AVA in Sonoma County, and it's a very high altitude. He's sourcing fruit from a vineyard where like no one wants to farm up there. He's at the very top of Sonoma Mountain. And like most of the days, it's above the cloud. The slope is way too steep for anyone to bring any machinery up there. It's a fucking pain in the ass to farm such a small plot of land. And anyway, someone farms it. I think it's anyway, I can't remember the name of the farmer, but Daniel gets enough grapes out of that to make 44 cases of that beautiful Daniel. Can you enlarge, Mira, the pictures and check what is the vineyard name on that?
Yeah, I'll tell you. You think it's on the front of it?
Yeah, it's on the front.
40-ish cases produced.
It's 45 cases made that I know. But if you can get this, the name of the... Oh, it's blurry. Okay. Anyway, not a big deal. So it's a single vineyard from
Mendocino County, Pearly Vineyard, Pearly.
Yeah. Anyway, so so we're tasting that. I'm tasting that with him, and I'm like, so first,
slope. It says 60% slope. It's called Pearly
I mean,
Vineyard.
It's crazy. I read more about the vineyard itself, Mira, and I read more about it. And people in the industry said the guy who farm up there is a fucking nutcase because no one wanted to farm there. It's just like almost unrealistic to grow some grapes up there. And so anyway,
I just found a picture of it. Oh wow, yeah, it's Perli, Pearly Vineyard. Wow.
Yeah, so pretty crazy. So sitting there with Daniel, so I have 2 California Chardonnay. I have one, a local one from Santa Lucia Island, and I have the Daniel one. So I know which one is the Stratus because it's the cloudy one. So I'm smelling both. And Danielle said, Carl, I said to Danielle, I'm like, there's no way that I can know which one is which because I don't know those products, right? So he said, I'll give you a hint. Mine is on as no new oak. I'm like, okay, thank you. Smell. This one is definitely not yours. This one is yours. He said, okay, good guess. I'm like, oof, okay, now I'm not looking like a real dummy. So now I'm gaining a little bit of trust from him so I can find a wine with no new oak on the nose, right? So, and that wine smells like, you can smell the minerality on the nose. It's more citrus. And I can tell, holy shit, look at that. Wow.
Look how steep that vineyard is. That's the Pearly Vineyard. Crazy,
so, yeah, that Daniel Chardonnay's come from that. Anyway, so, and now I tasted for the first time, and wow, the flavors are just exploding. There's that line of minerality, citrus, lemon meringue, like everything that I really love about. I almost felt I'm tasting a Leaning Post Chardonnay or a Bachelor Chardonnay. I'm like, this is really cool. And I'm just came out of me. I said, this is a 93 point at least. And I'm like, nah, probably 94. And there is the moment right there that his wife is right behind the camera, says, Good gig. She said good score. James Suckling just rated that wine 94 points a couple of weeks ago. So I'm like,
I think Carl knows what he's talking about sometimes.
So that was pretty cool. And Daniel was like, wow, that is real cool. So anyway, so we had a good chat. The wine was fantastic. And we had a good attendance. A lot of people from the conference, from our talk, came to watch the live show. So that was really cool.
That was probably, like you said it and I said it, that was the most surprising thing for us, is being the people, especially Carl, the guy who tastes the most Canadian wines on the planet every year as a wine critic, and going down there and expecting that in the United States, I mean, they're like 100 times bigger than us. I don't know, even more in terms of wine production. And we were expecting all these big wineries with huge production. And no, we actually encountered like tiny production, small family-owned wineries, just like we have up here. We were driving and we saw that.
That's the ocean of vineyards in Paso Robles.
Yeah, Paso Robles.
In Paso Robles.
And we're like, this is probably like what we saw there is probably like I don't know, a fifth of Canada's entire vineyard holding, right? And yeah, no, most of the wineries that we encountered were like exactly, it just felt like we were home again. So it's kind of crazy that way. But what I wanted to say with that, yeah, Daryl, you and James Suckling and Carl probably have like a triangle, like you have, yeah, you probably score Daryl everything like 1 or 2 points, maybe below Carl too. I'm not sure. Although there was that Benjamin Bridge bubbly that definitely you felt was underscored.
There you go. I knew that was coming.
There you go. But yeah, so that was the crazy part. Was that discovering how similar they are. And not just, like I thought too, in the States, they've got a lot of things figured out that we don't. Well, they got it worse than us, actually. They don't have like 9 provinces to try and ship wine across. They've got like 47 or whatever. And it's
they have 50 total, and they have 42 figure it out, and 6 that are real pain in the ass, and 2 that cannot, they still cannot. So
yeah, so that conference we were at is responsible for that, because 20 years ago they had the same problem we have here, where all the laws were like archaic and not talking to each other and unclear and not allowing certain places to send and receive wine. And they had that conference every year now for over 20 years, and they used the proceeds to lobby the government to change those laws, and they've succeeded in like 95% of the cases. So it's pretty cool. 51. What's 51? Oh, that whole thing that's happening with while we were down there, all of these things about the 51st state and all this were starting to crop up.
No one talks about Canada. Don't worry, Daryl. Don't worry, Daryl. That was a little, just a little mention here in the in the news. No one talks about Canada down there. Okay?
Yeah, they barely know.
Well, they talk about the Canadian couple who just came from BC, and so that was pretty cool to be.
Okay, this is interesting. So Mike, thanks for this. U.S. wine production 750 million gallons, and ours is 288 million. No, I don't know. Something's wrong, or you're just making up stats. I don't know. Yeah, so definitely a lot bigger than us. What I do know, I don't know about gallons and everything, but I do know that they have 24,000 wineries and we have like 800. So
where is your number here? Right there. Exactly. So that's a little bit about our trip. That's mostly about the California. Spent good time in Las Vegas with the kids. If you guys want to know the highlight, I would say probably the Golden Knights game. I took my two of my 3 kids playing hockey, and we were pretty excited to watch the Golden Knights. And I have to tell you, they know how to put on a show at the T-Mobile Arena. It was a heck of a show. We had a great time, and we saw a overtime and a shootout and the whole 9 yards. So even with ticket in the bleacher, we had a heck of a time.
So, hey, I'm almost done the blind tasting glass. I'll have to pour another. So, do you want to tell me about this white first? And then maybe we can tell
Yeah.
you guys what happened with Las Vegas that we might have to go back in 6 weeks because
Yes. Okay. Let's talk
they
about
don't have
what's in
enough
my
Canadian
glass.
wine down there. So,
Yeah.
but tell me
So
what's in your white wine glass. Don't try to guess it, right? Like, just, just tell us what you're smelling.
don't tell me what to do, okay, please? Okay, super citrusy on the nose. On the nose, it's Meyer lemon, key lime. Uh, also, also a little bit of floral, golden, like really like pretty deep color as well. So. And there's also a rich texture, mouthful. So
I like it about that rich texture because that's what I think about this varietal too when I think of it.
So full body, and to me, with the lemon, the floral, and the rich texture, it leads me straight to the Southern Rhone varietals.
Yeah,
Roussanne, Marsanne, Viognier. So that's from the smell to the texture. That's like one of the three varietal. It seems pretty fresh. I don't see any age in that. It's pretty bang on into, I would say, between 2020 and 2022. So current release. So now which one of the three? I would guess Viognier, but that's just a guess.
Okay. And what's your price point on this?
What's my price point on it? Oh, that's interesting. So there's also apricot in there. Not a super long finish. I would say before the price point is my appreciation. I do enjoy that wine. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy the little white pepper on the finish as well. So if it's less than $30, I would say that leans toward a 90 plus, maybe 91.
Okay. Very
because
good.
I like it. It's well made. It's well balanced. The acid is there, so it's structured. There's enough complexity to make it a borderline $30 wine. If it's above 30, I'm not sure if I would pay that much. But yeah, that's my.
Very good. Well, hey, I have to say, you guys, so Carl didn't taste wine for a few days, for like 5 days, because he's like, oh, it's all screwed up in here with this flu and everything. But you are back, Monsieur Boucher. You are back because everything you've said is spot on.
Okay.
So very well done. Very well done. So yeah, so it is, you ready?
Yeah.
It is a Viognier.
Okay, cool.
That was your guess, which is good. All those flavors you said, I get them too. So it's the flu.
Okay, so we have the same flu.
Yeah. And the one thing that you were a little off on was that you said it's very fresh. I mean, you're not off on the fact that it tastes fresh, but it is a 2019.
Okay, 19, so 1 year off. Yeah, I said between 20 or 22. Yeah, 19. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So there you go, Church and State Viognier. And guess what? So I think it's sold out at the winery. I'm not totally sure. But I just looked it up. The BC liquor stores have some in stock still, and they are at $20.
Oh, good.
So I think you said something under 30, you'd give it 90 plus or so?
Well, yeah, 90 plus, that's for sure. I mean, Osoyoos are like, there's a right spot for Viognier. That's the right spot down there. in the proper years. And I think that very lemony that's
Yeah.
very lemony delivery maybe comes from a colder vintage where the orchard fruit, because usually with Viognier in a hot climate, I will have lemon, but also some tropical fruit mingled in that. And I don't have that much tropical fruit, maybe because it's the 19 vintage.
Yeah, it's true. I
But
mean,
yeah,
it's definitely South Okanagan. It says Bella Vineyard. I'm pretty sure that's South Okanagan. Like
oh
everything they
yeah, no, absolutely, it is south. So Bella, they have so Coyote Bowl, Bella, and one more, and they're all in the Soyuz, I believe. So in the little like where they're located. So yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, good job, Carl. There you go.
Thank you. Not always easy, but very enjoyable here. That little wine.
Yeah, and for $20, I mean that's not bad. There we go. Okay, Mike found the numbers. Thanks for being our researchist, Mike. Canadian wine production, 14 million gallons, less than 2% of the US's. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. But again, like who we met and who we talked to down there, I don't know if it's just our luck or what, but it was like 600 people from wineries that are all 5,000 cases a year or less. So basically like what we have.
Were they all 5,000 cases or less?
95% of them. That's what the organizers told me.
Here you go.
But here, I'll tell you why. It's a really interesting kind of social, political thing, you guys. So what we do with Carl's Wine Club is we encourage you guys as wine lovers to find the wineries that you like and support them directly. And that's called DTC, direct to consumer, right? So they don't have to go and sell their stuff to a grocery store chain or to, liquor store chains or whatever, government liquor stores. And to do that, there's a whole chain of people in between that they have to pay, right? They have to pay like an agent and a distributor and then the liquor stores and then finally gets to you, right? So that the idea with that is that the farmers get to have sort of more control over their revenues, right? So if they're selling it directly to the consumer, assuming that they don't get ripped off on shipping, they will probably be able to keep more of those funds at their farm, at their winery. So it's a really great way of doing it to support these family-run wineries and get like the freshest, best products too. Because a lot of the stuff wineries make at these small wineries, it's too small to actually put it into the supply chain, right? Like a lot of stores won't want to carry a product that's only got 35 cases produced because it's not enough to put on all the store shelves or whatever, right? But that's usually the best stuff. So that's what we do. Thanks, Stacy and Jeff. And so this conference was the world's largest conference for direct-to-consumer in wine. And that's why I think we had all the smaller wineries, because I think for the bigger wineries, it makes more sense for them to go to a conference that's about like how to get into Costco or something, right? Versus like, how do you sell your wine directly to the wine lovers? So.
Well, and it's also how do you preserve the right to tell your own story?
Yeah,
right. I mean, that's
more important to these small wineries because let's be honest, sometimes the big wineries don't really have an authentic story to tell. That's more about, well, we mass produce,
exactly.
We shat, whatever you call that,
Chatelize. That's the sound.
Yeah. Yeah, putting either acid or sugar into it
and sugar, especially down in the States. So anyway, hey, why are we saying that we might go back to Vegas very shortly?
So any Vegas lovers in the room will know that Cirque du Soleil has kind of their home base down there. And the founder and owner of Cirque du Soleil, Guy Laliberté, is a Canadian, I believe, right? Québécois, just like our Carl Boucher over here. And once a year, through his foundation, they do kind of like a fundraiser, right, Carl?
Yeah, exactly. So, but the thing is that this thing in Vegas was outed since COVID. They didn't do one until since 2018, I think, was the last one in Las Vegas.
Oh, interesting.
So they have a big foundation. It's called the One Drop Foundation, where every year they raise money for the protection of water around the world. That can be to dig, I don't know, canal in Africa, but also they do a lot of work in South Nevada, which is a local, because in Nevada, problem of water in Nevada, you will see why it's a big problem. So anyway, Cirque du Soleil are very involved with the protection of water around the world, and their foundation is called the One Drop Foundation. Now, we have a good friend, a mentor of mine, someone that I really respect in the world of wine. His name is Marc Nadeau, and he owns l'Académie du Vin in Toronto. And we've done some great stuff with him at the Vintage Conservatory in the past. And so
Mark, you were there. I think Mike was there when we did that tasting in Toronto, Mike and Jen.
Yeah, absolutely. And so l'Académie du Vin does the whole wine selection and all of the wine auction for the One Drop Foundation. And they do that gala, that really high-end reception and high-end party. Like, it's a full day of events. They do it in Miami. They do it in Europe. They do it. They did it for the first time in Canada in November. And long story short, there's the big one is in Las Vegas. Obviously, it's home of Guy Laliberté. It's home of the Cirque du Soleil. So March 22nd, it's the big one, the comeback of the One Drop Foundation in Las Vegas, the first time since the end of COVID. And we were asked to help with the whole process, which is pretty darn fucking cool. It's really,
on
really,
the
really
Canadian
cool.
wine front. So Carl Boucher here will represent. And why is this cool, Carl? Because we're not going to try to sell Canadian wine to people in Las Vegas necessarily. It's pretty hard to find down there, but it's cool because of who the Canadian wine will be tasted side by side with, right?
Well, exactly. And there's also the who's the who of Las Vegas in the world of the big rich boy, all going to be there. Like, it's over a $2,000 ticket per person to be there. Like, sponsorship costs like $50,000, and the price at the auction is like a day of touring at Chateau Rothschild or a vertical of Domaine La Romanée Conti, starting in like 8 years from 1932 to 1940. Goes for $75,000 or more. Like, they're raising millions of dollars. With their auction price. Or you have a all-inclusive week at Ornellaia in Tuscany. Like these kind of price, if they're not, like, you've seen that only in the biggest auction in the world, and this is one of the biggest wine auction in the world. So last year, for the first time, the one in Toronto, Marc has decided to bring a Canadian producer in the lineup.
So to us, that is the big win, because we're all about showing the world, showing Canadians, first of all, but also the world, like, Canada has arrived in terms of a wine region, and boy, is it special.
But through our connection, because Marc came to the Pan-Canadian at Bellaterra, and he met Elia Senchuk there for the first time, and he fell in love with what Leaning Post do. So through our connection, Elia and Marc Nadeau got in contact and connection, and Elia was the first Canadian winery to be part of the One Drop Foundation. And Richard De Silva met with Marc Nadeau a couple times when we traveled to Ontario. Marc really loved the De Silva wines. We put De Silva back vintage Pinot Noir Legado in the lineup at our back vintage dinner with him. So connection here. And anyway, Marc asked us to choose 2 Canadian wineries to be part of the Las Vegas Gala. So, which is really, really cool. And now
and
I'm
look,
having
Daryl's in. I mean, Domaine de Romane Conti, like he's in. So it gives me a thought, though. Actually, Daryl, it's kind of fun. I mean, this is so short notice, but it might be something that we should be finding out the details of, Carl. Like, if there is anyone who is a member, who is a big fan of Canadian wine, that wants to meet us in Vegas and taste Canadian wine down there, alongside these crazy international wines. I mean, that
well, I know it's possible. There's the ticket only, the event ticket only, and it's $2,000.
Is it?
Yeah. So,
and are they actually tasting DRC there?
No, the DRC will be open and tasted exclusive for the VIP VIP reception. And the VIP reception is for the sponsor only.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll find out more about it. I mean, we just started talking about this in the last day or two with Mark. And
anyway, I'm having a chat with Richard De Silva right after that show. And there's a strong possibility that Richard will feature De Silva wine at the gala, which is incredible to have your wine in the same lineup that Baron Philippe de Rothschild, Ravenna, Alto, Chateau Palmer, like all of these crazy, Ornellaia, Sassicaia, most of the biggest producer around the world are going to be in there, and to have some of the De Silva wine alongside with them, it's really cool. And there's a good chance that
more winery, right? So
yeah, and we had a really good conversation with Anne Sperling this morning, which she's like, oh my God, that would be really cool. So she's taking
we don't know yet, but we'll see who we might be
That's right. Okay, I should stop.
Bring down there with us. But I think what's good about all this is that yeah, Daryl's gonna run a GoFundMe. Perfect.
Yeah, but being involved in that and see some of our Canadian wines on the Las Vegas scene with some of the greatest international wines, it's pretty cool. Really, really cool.
Sometimes what we need, because I'm convinced that in 5 or 10 years, gone will be the days that you can just like have a selection of Canadian wine, whatever you really want, even the very best Canadian wines, as we taste and we find out, I think the very best Canadian wines and wineries will be sold out like before they even drop their wines, because there's such small production. And if we start supporting our wineries more as Canadians, if more Canadians start buying Canadian, which I think it's one of the trends that is maybe a good thing out of this whole spat that's happening with the States. I think the best wineries are going to sell out instantly, basically, because they've got such small production. So the point is that sometimes we have to show people in other countries that can't even access our wines how good Canadian wine is, for the Canadians themselves to believe that what we have in our backyard is really world class, and that wine lovers in many other parts of the world would love to have what we have access to. Because otherwise we kind of take it for granted and we think, oh, it's better if we bring it in from these other countries. Somehow that wine is right.
There you go. So that's the why we're planning another Las Vegas escapade. So we'll keep you posted on that, but it's really cool to work on that project, I'm telling you. Okay, what's in my, because I have to leave soon to go pick up our oldest at school. Now,
so tell us what's in your red wine glass.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Okay.
It's very confusing. So at first, with my first couple sniff, and I said, hey, this is Cap Franc, there was 2 things. 1, the color, and 2, there was that Black Forest cake, cherry wood smell that I thought, that's Cap Franc. So obviously and clearly you said this is not. Now, Now that the wine has evolved for 40 minutes in my glass, I'm confused because I'm just fine. And I'm not sure if it's me that now my nose is completely plugged. And I'm not sure if I just tasted a really minty, like something fairly minty on the back end. So mint, eucalyptus, like mint chocolate would sometime lead me to Cab Sauv, but there's no licorice, there's no graphite in that. Maybe I'm not picking it up right now because I'm fairly sick. And it's not dark enough to be a Cab Sauv, to my opinion. So if it's a Cab Sauv, can you please tell me right away so I don't look like an idiot?
It's not a Cab Sauv.
So, okay. So now that leads me to the other thing. It's mint and it's a little bit meaty. So it would be a medium body Syrah. So that's my other take.
Okay. But I like what you said about the mint, and all these other things. And I like what you said about it being confusing, because this is big hint drop. This is not the first time you've been confused by this varietal.
Oh, fuck you. It's not a Merlot again.
It is. It is. Your nemesis. Your nemesis. It's a Merlot. Oh, but you know what? It's not a full-on Merlot. So you weren't wrong about the Cab Franc. Here, let me see. I thought I pulled the Merlot, but I pulled the Cab Merlot. So it's Cab Franc, Cab Sauv, Merlot.
What is it?
Cab Franc, Cab Sauv, Merlot.
No, so Cab Franc dominant. So there you go.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's Cab Sauv, Cab Franc dominant. I think it's well, I don't know. It doesn't say the blend, but.
So we need to pump the air out of that wine. I want to retaste that with clean sinus.
Yeah.
With a better full spectrum, because I really enjoy the wines of Taw's, and now it's so wonky on everything happening here that I cannot either rate it or
and it's my mistake, because I think we have a Merlot too, and I thought I had that, but it's the Cab Merlot. So you were totally right on the Cab Franc, and that you can't say it's 100% Cab Sauv either. And but that Merlot always throws you off, doesn't it? That's kind of fun.
I need to go to Merlot school.
Yeah.
Daryl, I'm going to go to spend a week at Daryl's house, and I'm going to come back completely Merlot savant.
That's the headquarters of Canada's Merlot school there at Daryl's house, eh?
Yeah, too bad he has cats, so it'll be hard for me to learn about Merlot, but I'll make it happen.
Daryl's School of Merlot. There you go.
Daryl's School of Merlot. Yeah, so sorry I couldn't nail that one. So.
No, it's not about nailing it, Carl. I just like hearing your thoughts, because you're always spot on with this stuff. How much is this Cab Merlot? I have no idea.
20 under 25. That's my guess.
Well, you said you want to revisit Cabernet Merlot. You want to revisit once your nose is better.
Yeah, but I'm fairly sure that it's under $25.
Yeah, that's your take on it. Okay. I think you're right. I don't think it's available anywhere right now, because I'm not seeing it come up in Google. But on the places where it is being sold, like liquor stores and things like that, you're totally bang on. It looks like it's like somewhere between 20 and 25 bucks.
Like according to the texture, to the weight, and that's where it leads me. So
yeah,
I don't have to be 100% functional to get the right price, though. Give that in mind.
You're like the price hound, like a dog that sniffs out the truffles under the tree.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Oh yeah. What I want to announce, it's next week. We're gonna have some some very rare wines to offer. So I'm getting my hands on one case of like a couple cases of wine that are not available anywhere, not on websites, not on library release, not like wines that winery have one case of something in their private cellar or something like that. So I'm getting I'm on the hunt for rare shit. Let's put it that way. I'm on the hunt on rare shit, and we're gonna have like a little spotty, not spotty, but a little spot like flash offer coming up next week. So
because what's happened is we had Mouchadre this last week, which was phenomenal value, and members love that, and a lot of people have ordered that. And then we're going to have another value offer coming up before this HSD holiday thing ends. So we're talking 6 bottles for like $120 or something, right?
Yeah. With Niagara College. So it's going to be support the local talent in Niagara, which is really, really cool. And we're going to have 6 bottles of
Thanks, Daryl. You got a case of it? 2 cases? Nice. That's what we can do with that. Yeah, so Niagara College is cool because we're supporting the upcoming talent. Actually, so many of the winemakers that are member favorites, they went to school at either Brock University or Niagara College.
Yeah.
And Niagara College has this teaching winery where they sell the wines, and Carl has tasted through 24 of them, and we've picked 69 that
there's a couple that we couldn't get at the end of the day because now they got sold out over the holidays. But it's going to be super cool because I really there's a few things like I still remember feeling like that the semi-dry Riesling was just so freaking phenomenal. So there's wines in there like, holy shit, this is good for $18. So it's gonna be fun.
We thought, hey, for those people that like collecting wines and that want the super rare stuff, Carl has put together a few things, very limited amounts for next week. So that's exciting.
You go. So I'm gonna hit the road, Mira. I have to let you guys go. But do you have anything else you want to bring tonight?
That's all for now. It was great to see everyone. We are in the thick of a lot of things. I know I owe our Pan-Canadian people accommodations for those that are interested in that. I think
these darn things are kind of really freaking rare right now. Oh man, you guys have no idea. Mira's freaking spending hours, and every time we found something, boom. Well, not every time, but it happened last week. We had one found, and boom,
what's hard to find is the larger houses with lots of bedrooms and lots of bathrooms. So what we're going to do is go close to Siouxans, which is the epicenter of our activities for the Pan-Canadian next June 21st and the 3 days preceding, 2 days preceding, 1 day after. So we will find 2 houses instead of just one, really close together. I think that's going to be our best bet, most economical, because once you get into the big houses, there's kind of a premium for that I don't think is really worth the price point.
Yeah, you're right.
And they're hard to find. And sometimes you have to compromise on location and have to travel 15 minutes every time you want to get to a winery. So I think we're going to go really close to the wineries and go less in price, but still have the 2 or 3 houses close to each other. And hopefully we'll convince one of them to let us have sort of late night porch sessions where we can taste different wines that are from
because back to our vineyard tour with Thomas Batchelder, we had a epic house party on night 2, and I really wanted Oops.
That was very nice, though. Nothing got out of control. It was really fantastic.
No, but it was freaking awesome. Oh my God, we had such a good time. So anyway,
that's the best when people can just drop by, especially winemakers, and say, "Here's something from the tank, or something from the barrel, or something in my cellar that I've been holding on to for many years." That's pretty fun. So.
There you go. Right. So, okay, we're going to go. And never know. Might come back sometime this weekend with the impromptu live or whatever. Or if not, we'll see you next week. Same time, same place. So let's chat about it.
Yeah, cheers. Great to see you guys. Yes, Mike, we do. Yes, it was booked up like well over a year in advance. I tried 6 months ago and it was already booked. All right. Cheers, guys.